Oh, Jane, you should really err on the side of caution next time. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Hey, welcome to Table's Trick Taking Table. I'm Table. I'm going to be tabling this book, shutting this book, because one of the games we're covering today is Shut the Books by the prolific #1 designer on the channel, Taiki Shinzawa. Where the hook is, you will be playing a trick-taking game, where you're going to be, after you've dealt a hand, taking 1, 2, 3, 4, any number you want, of cards out of your hand as your bid on the number of tricks you're going to win. So if you take out 3 cards, you're going to be bidding, hey, I'm going to take 3 tricks. In addition to that, the cards you take matter. So if you take a 5 of blue, you're saying that you are going to win a trick with a 5 or a trick that was lead blue. If you take out like a 8 green, you're going to be winning again with a trick with either an 8 or a trick that was lead green. Some nuance there. I'll explain some of it. Fascinating stuff. Classic Taiki where just the gameplay is wild. Next, we have Vivo, mi mama, mi momo, ni na na ma 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 mo mo mo, designed by Leo and Vic Village, who've done a lot of interesting, like Taigi is a game they've done, and Salty, and they're a really interesting design circle that I'm hoping to cover more. But Vivo, the hook is, it's must not follow-ish. You play in the game a mix of must not follow all the way to must follow and everything in between. So for example, you might on a given trick have to play 3 suits. And so players have to play 3 suits into the trick, or 2 suits. Or sometimes it is just 1 suit, so that was must follow. And if you can't do any, you put it face down. So some interesting kind of twist on must not follow in Vivo. But before we go to the table, my namesake, the titular table, I wanted to address, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of wildness happening behind me on the set. We're going to be moving around. We're going to be moving a little bit. So this has been growing as I've been cleaning up around here, but also has been growing because so many wonderful people have sent so many wonderful things. So I just wanted to highlight, and I've had some kind of wacky stuff, like all this kind of goofy IKEA things, or some Lord of the Rings, or maybe this fun little Yoshi lamp where you put the apple on its tongue. But what I really want to cover is look at all this amazing stuff that people have sent. So first off, well, this was a Pinewood Derby car I made when I was young. 55, still love 55. We love that. But look at this. Let's start with this. David, the amazing David sent me the original game of Ombre. I don't know what it is. I love old books. First off, what a back. I love older books that say the word trick in them. Is that a weird thing to just love? There's something to where I'm looking through old books, especially like with this, is it typeface or font? Where you're looking at this super old book and it says like tricks in them, and it's such a fun way to like connect to the past when you're looking at these old books that describe what a trick is and how to play trick-taking games in such detail. And I love also the fact that this less than 40-page hardcover book about this one game exists. I just absolutely love that. With so many games in the world, that there was so much care and love put into this one game. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, David. Then, we have our wonderful namesakes sent in by John. We have Taylor's Trick Taking Table mug with Claude, and then we have, look at this, short zoot suit with the Taylor Inside production on there. Isn't that amazing? And then inside, look at that, the player count symbols that Sai did. Just absolutely so gorgeous. I drink chai out of them, but then I always wash them to put them back for the set because they're just that amazing. Then the amazing Jonah made a short zoot suit and an Of What's Left owl 3D printed these absolutely wonderful, wonderful tie of what's that? And short zoot. And then Tyla, speaking of tie, made this glass hubba hubba. I don't know if I say it that much on the channel, but in person, if you meet me, I say hubba hubba a lot. It's kind of like my go-to catchphrase. I don't know what it is. I think it's so funny. Hubba hubba kills me. So Tyla put hubba hubba onto this amazing glass bottle with the wonderful, wonderful kind of, I think I need a name for him because he is just like the iconic, the cover of Short Zoot Suit. And then, oh, this is so amazing. Montana sent a Kiki's Delivery Service remake, or kind of reskin, I don't know what the right word is, of the game we've covered in the past, which is Delivery Service. Isn't that amazing? So you have brooms, if you're familiar with, packages. If you're familiar with the game, this definitely makes sense. But look at the detail on all of this. You have the birds from the story. You have the different cake that was made. You have the spine. That's Kiki's spine. If you remember from the wonderful animated movie Kiki's Delivery Service that has Kiki's spine. Actually, I have the. Talking about cleaning up right now. I have the VHS. So we know we're well versed in Kiki's Delivery Service. But isn't that amazing? He sent that in, and there's just like so much love and work put into this. So this is so amazing. It's already a great game, and that theme itself, it's just right for it. And just so many wonderful, wonderful things. Like a cute lion card from Ben from Travel Games. We even have old school Sail Skull King that we made when we were Eric Martin. So that is most of the set. We have some wonderful, wonderful cards from just so many amazing people. That also someone's wonderful child made to Taylor. That was about how I am so good at all these different games. That looks exactly like me. Look at this. Huh? Pretty good? It's blurry? There we go. Okay. Anyway, so this is wild. Oh, and Chris and Hassie for the Hasio cat keyboard, and of course, Claude. So we are probably going to be moving around the set a little bit. This has been so fun to film in front of. There'll be aspects of it here and there, but I just want to say thank you so much for the amazing things sent throughout the years on the channel. Y'all are the absolute best. It's wild to see crazy things like just the fact that I have like a weird lion on the back manifests itself in like wonderful lion cards or handcrafted amazing mugs. So thank you so much. It absolutely means the world, and it's been so wonderful to film on this set. Things are gonna be moving around. I mean, it's not like the next video is I'm gonna be in the ocean or out on the street, but things are gonna be definitely moving around. But it's so wonderful. I think having a wacky set like this has always been fun. I know there's kind of a thing like if you have a YouTube channel, especially about board games, if you should have board games in the back, it's almost like a lens to your je ne sais quoi, that's not the right word, your gravitas as a person who can speak on board games. But you know what? Why not just have a weird lion looking at you, you know? And why am I talking so high? Anyway, thank you so much. Y'all are amazing. Let's go to the table and I'll teach you how to play all those wonderful games. Okay, bye. Hey, New Angle Taylor here. Before we go to the table, I just want to say this is in the shot because this is my family computer that I played Hearts on, my first trick-taking game. So I thought I'd give it a fun little shout-out. Look at that tower. I'm holding on to take the hard drive. The battery died, but I'm holding on because it's the first trick-taking game. Anyway. The deck in Shut the Books is 4 suits numbered 1 through 15, and at 3 players, you're going to remove
the 13, 14, and 15 of each of the 4 suits. Here we have a game of Shut the Books set up for 3 players. So no matter the player count, you're going to shuffle and deal the deck evenly. At 3, that's 16 cards to each player. And at 4 players, that's 15 to each player. The game is going to involve a phase of bidding and then trick play. And the person who starts the bidding in the first round is the last player to shut a book. So fittingly, it's going to be American Bookshop in this example. And so players are going to be bidding on the number of tricks they think they're going to take using the cards in their hand. So if they think they're going to win 3 tricks, they're going to put down 3 cards face up. What's interesting though is what kinds of cards they put down are really important. So in this example, sure, let's say American Bookshop thinks they're going to take 3 tricks. But in addition to saying they think they're going to take 3 tricks, let's do maybe this just for this example. They think they're going to win a trick with a card that's either yellow or an 8, a trick with a card that's either a 5 or a yellow, or a trick with a card that's either blue or 5. So the card you put down is very important. So coming over to Fahrenheit 451, maybe they have a high hand, maybe a lot of high yellows, and they're going to say this, and then maybe a trump, just to keep it spicy. They also think they're going to take 4 tricks, and then over here, this player is going to play 4. So then, after all the players bid, it's going to go back to that starting player, and they're going to lead into the trick. So it's a must-follow game. So maybe they play this 7 yellow, and it comes to Fahrenheit 451. They only have one option. They're going to play that 12 yellow, and then coming to the cat up here, they are going to play the 2 yellow. So the winner of the trick is the highest of the lead suit, unless there was red, which is trump. If there were the red, it's the highest red. But so they're going to take the trick, and then they're going to look at the rank in the suit that they won it with. And if they have any matches, they're going to put it over underneath that card. So notice they don't have any 12s up here, so they can't go off rank, but they do have yellow. So they're going to put it under the yellow. What you do is you do this, you flip the prediction, and then you count the trick underneath, and then they're going to lead to the next trick. So maybe they want to get their purple trick, and they're going to play purple. Jumping ahead, because the cat won that purple trick, they lead purple again. Coming to American Bookshop, they actually don't have purple in their hand. So what's interesting is they can trump in with this 5 here, and likely win it. So yeah, so since they trumped in, they have the 5. So now they have a red here. They don't have any red over here, but since the rank is something you can match on as well, they're going to choose to pick one of the 2 5s. And you can just choose. It doesn't matter. In this case, it probably is more beneficial for them to take this one, because then they have the leniency on both 5 later and yellow. So kind of a little bit of the redundancy there. Jumping to the next trick, let's say it was lead blue, Fahrenheit played the 7, and then the desk played under. Sadly, the Fahrenheit has won a trick that did not match, because it's a blue 7, with either a number on one of their predictions or the suit. If that happens, you actually place the card over here, and it's below kind of an empty spot. You have missed your prediction. You're not going to score the most points. You're actually probably going to score negative. If players keep doing this, like let's say Fahrenheit won another trick that didn't match anything, they would just keep placing tricks to the right, and they're going to keep getting more negative points. In a bigger table, obviously, it would look better, but that is the flow of if you keep missing tricks. Winning with a trump actually has a little bit of a power. So let's say it was lead blue, and it comes to American Bookshop down here. If they didn't have any blue, and this is what their hand looked like, they could play a red, and then finishing out this example, put the 2. Red trump is special in that it can count as the suit that was led if you win with a trump. So in this case, the American Bookshop player has won either a blue trick, a red trick, or an 8. So when they take this, they can actually count it as this 5 over here, or since it's an 8, they could count it as this over here. But the special thing about trump is you can treat it as if you won the suit that is led. And so they can actually do that. Play like this is going to continue until someone's out of cards, and that is player dependent in a cool way, because as you remember, the book desk up here, they bid 4 while the other players bid 3, so they have 1 fewer card in their hand, so it's actually going to end 1 in both of their players' hands, so a little bit early. Jumping ahead to scoring here, if you predicted the number of tricks you were going to get and you flipped all your cards perfectly, you're going to get 4 points. If you're off by 1, like over here, Fahrenheit only got 2 tricks, even though they predicted 3, you're going to get 2 points. Interestingly, that's if you're off by 1 either way. So in this case, let's say they actually got their 3 tricks, but sadly they took an extra trick. Over here, they're off by 1 again. That is worth 2 points. If you're off by more than 1, there's something special. So let's actually show a couple examples of what that would look like. So if Fahrenheit 451 was off by more than 1 here, they're going to lose a point per amount they are off. So in this case, they only got 1 trick. They predicted 3, so they're -2. In this example, they predicted 1 trick and they got it, but they were 3 extra tricks over, then they would lose 3 points. And in this example, where they predicted some tricks, didn't get them, but actually got other stray tricks, you still calculate -1 per amount off. So they were off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's -5 points. Then you would shuffle up and deal, and the start player for the bidding would just move clockwise, and you're going to play rounds equal to the number of players. At the end, whoever has the most points over those rounds is the winner. And if it's a tie, it's the person who last bid in the last round. And that's how to play Shut the Books. The deck in Vivo is 4 suits numbered 1 through 12. And at 3 players, you're going to remove a suit. Here we have the game partially set up for 4 players. So no matter the player count, you're going to shuffle the deck and deal 12 to each player. At 3 players, you're going to remove a suit. And at 3 players, you're going to have a different song deck makeup. Here is the song deck. At 4 players, you can have 3 each of solo, duet, trio, and quartet. But at 3 players, you're going to remove the 3 quartet. You're going to add 1 each of the trio, duet, and solo. Once you have your song deck, you're going to shuffle it, and then you're going to flip over the first one, which is going to be what we're going to be doing in the first trick. But you're also going to flip and have face up the next one to let players know what song is going to be the next trick. And we like to turn it a little bit sideways so it's a little bit clearer on what the next one is and what the current one is. The start player in the first round is the last player to sing. So let's just say it is the puppy with a knife. They are going to lead into the trick here. And Vivo is a must-not-follow-ish game. It runs on the spectrum of must-follow to must-not-follow in a really interesting way. And what dictates that is the song card. So as you can see here, we have duet as our first song. The number of paw prints on the card, because you have like solo, duet, trio, and quartet, is the number of suits that must be in the trick. So let's jump into an example of a duet here. So again, the knife puppy is leading off the first trick. They can play whatever they want into the trick. Let's just say they play a 3 blue. So that is 1 suit into the trick. Remember, since it's a duet, there needs to be 2. So coming to Arcanine up here, they can, if they want to, play any card still. They can play a blue if they want to, or they can play any other suit. Let's say they play another suit. They played the green. So now that there's 2 suits in the trick, there can't be any more suits added to the trick. So coming to Blue's hand up here, it's a tough name when not trying to talk about the suit colors. Blue can only play either this suit or this suit, so green or blue. So they can't play pink or any yellow. So looking at their hand, they don't have too many options. So let's just say they play the green. And then coming to Clifford, again, they can only play one of these 2 suits. Maybe they play the 6. How a trick resolves is there's going to be 2 winners. It's going to be the highest played and the lowest played. The highest played is just going to take the card that they played and they're going to flip it face down in their score pile, and that's going to be 2 points at the end of the game. If there was a tie for highest, like let's say, for example, Clifford played this 4 here, and see how the highest is a 4, it's later played that would win. So Clifford would win in this example because they played later. They'll take their highest, flip face down for 2 points. But going back to the actual thing that happened, then you check for the lowest. The lowest is this 2 over here. They're going to take their card and keep it face up, and they're going to take face value points. So they're going to get 2 points for that. The other cards you're just going to discard out of the round for now. And then the player who played the lowest will lead into the next trick. You're also going to advance the song deck. So now we are doing trio, which we saw earlier, and then a duet is coming up next. And so now Arcanine is going to lead into the trick. Maybe they play a 7 pink. Coming to Blue over here, again, they can play whatever they want. Maybe they play a blue. Now Clifford, they can again play whatever they want. But if they play another of the earlier suits, this is a good example of where a player might be forced to play a certain suit, is because as you can see here, there's 2 suits here, there's 1 more card to play, but there needs to be 3 suits in here. So the sword stabby dog cannot play a pink or a blue because they have to fulfill the condition of there being a valid 3-suit song. So they're going to have to play either green or yellow. This would evaluate the same way, so the highest would take theirs. This is face down for 2 points. And then the lowest, clockwise, would take theirs face up, so that's 7 points. That's pretty good. And then they would lead to the next trick. Again, you would advance the song deck. Jumping ahead to a solo, we can see a good example of what happens if a player cannot fit the requirements or follow suit or whatever it may be. So Arcanine, maybe they play a green into the solo here. So when it comes to blue, blue has to play a green. They must follow because there can only be one suit into the trick. So when it comes to Stabby Dog over here, notice they don't have any green in their hand anymore. So when this happens, they can play any card they want, but they have to play it sideways into the trick, and it just doesn't be part of the trick. It's not in it for all intents and purposes. That is the standard way to play. How we play is the advanced way, where when you play into the trick, you actually don't reveal the rank or the suit or whatever of the card. You actually flip it face down, which is cute because now it's like a little spotlight shining on the other dogs. And the trick would evaluate the same way. This is just out of it, so highest would take it for 2 points, and the lowest would take their face value. You discard the cards, and then the lowest would lead again. There is a possibility that no one is the lowest, like let's say, so it moved to solo, and maybe this player plays green again. And everyone was having, everyone didn't have green. Say we did that. Then this would just win. It'd flip like this because they won it. These get discarded, and the player who won the trick with the maximum value would lead to the next trick. Here's some isolated examples just to show off quartet. And an interesting situation with trio is if this was a trio trick and Arcanine leads pink and blue actually follows suit with pink, Clifford must play a different suit because there has to be 3 suits. There's 2 slots left and there's only 1 suit in the trick. So maybe Clifford plays this, and then same thing, Stabby Dog has to play another different suit. Moving on to quartet, it is essentially fully must not follow. So if we flip this here and Stabby Dog led with green, Arcanine must play a different suit, blue must play a different suit, and Clifford down here must play blue because it has to have all 4 suits. At the end of the 12 tricks, you'll have gone through the deck, so this is fully used, and players are just going to count their score. So Clifford over here, they would get 2 per face down, so that's 6, plus 6, 12, plus 9 is 21. Then you would shuffle a deal and play another round where the lead player in the second round is the player with the highest score, and that is actually it. There's only 2 rounds in this game. Whoever has the most points at the end of those 2 rounds wins. And that player wins the title of the most excellent puppy instructor. So that is Shut the Books and Vivo Las Vegas. Let's cover this one first. What a double pairing, by the way. Vivo, look at the cover. That's great. Vic Village. Doing wonderful things. I think this is fun art. And the gameplay, super simple, but it is, as a trick-taking aficionado, very, very interesting. I think it's clever. I think it's cool. I think it's, for me, if we're playing Wavelength and it's like clever, simple, I think it's slightly on the simple side. There's some nuance to it, but I do think even in the nuance, it's a little simple, but it's fun. It's a good time. And I think the system that they have is super, super solid. So production-wise, gorgeous. Look at these dogs. Look at these. They're so cute. They're holding little blankies or in little tuxedos, and the clothes are different per number, like the rank. Oh, just amazing. I love the card art on here, and the fact that when you're out in the advanced, the way we play, you flip, you shine the spotlight on the dogs that are still in it. Oh, just so cute. And English rules, and not only English rules, but like English player aids. Woo! Vic Village, you're killing it. So I approach this as, well, like I thought it was really interesting because we talk a lot on the channel about that kind of spectrum of like must follow to must not follow to may follow, and that level of freedom that you can have in different games. And what does that mean for the game? Is it good for the game? And this specific game is pretty much saying, let's explore that in very hyper-focused detail. So you go from those solos that are must follow all the way to must not follow in the quartets, unless you're playing at 3, and then you have the trios must not follow. and everything in between. It's like duets and the like. And I found it very interesting, very fascinating. I think it's a fun system to see. I think the gameplay loop is a little bit repetitive, and maybe that's just because it is so simple. You just want highest and lowest. It's very binary, and when it comes to you, you're like, okay, you just always have that same choice, where you're like, either you're leading, which is the biggest choice probably, but when it comes to you and you're not leading, you're like, okay, I can only play certain suits. Do I want to be highest? Do I want to be lowest? If I'm second, I'm going to get overridden more. If I'm hammer, I get the most choice. But then later on in the hand, you're usually frictioned. It's just a very simple core loop of like how to play your medium lowest to get as the lowest. And there's kind of like a push and pull. Will they beat me? Will they not? And I think it's more obvious at 4. So I don't know if I think I like 3 players the most. Just because at 4 you have 2 losers, you have 2 winners. Whereas at 3 you have like 2 winners, and it's fun to be like, oh, do I want to go high? Do I want to go low? Whereas you can kind of just get in the middle. You can be like second a lot at 4 player, and it's not the best. And I know they do a nice system where the lowest will lead, and that does move the position around because being hammer in this game is so important until it isn't. Which happens at the end, which is nice. I always like these types of games where being the hammer is great until it isn't. And yeah, so super simple scoring, super simple gameplay leads to a good game. I think it's good. Their short suiting is bad in this game. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm missing something, because you don't want to be out. If you're out, you're just out. So that's not good. I have noticed a lot of must-not-fall games kind of fit into this gameplay loop a little bit, where it's like, do you want to be highest? Do you want to be lowest? What does that mean for you? And it works. It's super simple. It's cool. I just think maybe it's a little simple. You're looking at your hands and you're like, okay, 12s, 11s, 10s, for the most part, are gonna win and get me 2, maybe. So I'm just trying to time on that. And then 1s, 2s, 3s are maybe the lowest. So it's kind of like this slightly middle range cards that are like, are they good? Are they not? It feels good when you sneak in like an 8 or a 6 or something. That feels pretty wild. But yeah, I think the game, it just flows. It's just chill. It's good. It's a good game. It's simple. It's just simple. It's super clever, super interesting. Just from like we're going into literally must not follow to must follow and everything in between. It's very interesting. But I do think it's just a simple, clean game. So I think that bars it a little bit from being like, do I want to play this all the time? Do I want to recommend this? Because it is just very one note. I guess it's 4 notes or a few notes. So cool. I liked it. I would definitely play it. I think it was a good time, but I do think it's a little simple. But overall, a really neat, clever, simple game that does another nice twist on Must Not Follow. It's been cool to see a lot of Must Not Follows come out. Don't think this is going to take over. I just love Tricky Time Crisis. But I think it's cool and interesting and good. And if you are watching this channel and listening to me talk right now, you'll probably want to play it because it is very interesting. Moving on to Shut the Books. This is bread and butter Taiki. We have covered Taiki 16 times on the channel, and this is classic. It's interesting gameplay with bidding that is a little brutal. It's lose, it's dois, it's time power tricks, it's Zimbabwe trick. It's Taiki Shinzawa. It's exactly what you expect. Very interesting bidding, fascinating bidding. In fact, we played Nikosu dice right before this. And it was interesting because that has a little bit of the cards in your hand, your bid vibes. This one is so clean, so wild. It's one of those like, oh wow, no one's done that, and that works great. I think the only tough edge is when you're teaching is the trump kind of edge case. Some people forgot that, but it's really not a big deal, and it's actually really nice leniency. But also like the scoring if you're off by more than 1. Because you can go off by more than 1, either you overbid or you underbid, right? and you can kind of do both, which is fascinating. In fact, yeah, I don't even know if know of a game that you can get punished for underbidding and overbidding. Very fascinating. So, is it good? Is it fun? Is it good? Well, I've kind of already said that. The cards aren't best, a little thin, they kind of stick to each other, but the art is maybe some of my favorite, maybe since Nikos Dice actually, that I've seen. Like, look at this. It is just gorgeous. And it's always interesting, just the fact that I'm paying attention to a lot of different suits and like suit design. It's cool how they're all unique suits, and even on the sides, like the wonderful borders, and the art on the cover is just gorgeous. Yeah, production, besides maybe the card quality, is stupendous. Graphic design and art and everything. And the gameplay, I think it is such a fun decision to look through your hand. There's kind of a cool thing where modern trick-taking games that play around with the idea of what does discarding mean. I grew up on Hearts, and that idea of passing through the left, right, across, and hold, and discarding or passing. Passing as a way of discarding from your hand is so interesting. And then you have games, like we talked about Hifu, where you discard a bunch at the start. There's this idea of hand manipulation in interesting ways is maybe the better thing. So there's, passing, discarding, exchanging. And in this one, it's bidding, and you can really cultivate your hand, but you're saying how many tricks you take. It's super fascinating, because I've known players who were like, oh, I want to bid 0. Maybe I could, but if I want to take this trump out of my hand, I'm bidding 1. Really, it's really fascinating. There's some great kind of levers to pull in the game, and it's just so simple. It's must follow. You're bidding with your cards in your hand. What else? What else is there to talk about? It's so simple, but it is. I think that's what's so interesting is covering these both at the same time, because they are so simple and are so clever. But I think there's a little bit of a depth to this that is pulling me back more than this one. And I know I'm not supposed to compare; they're not really the same game at all. But I think this one, and maybe it is just because bidding is putting you in the driver's seat, giving you every tool you need to either crash or successfully drive home. I don't know where that metaphor was going. But whereas this one is everyone's doing the same thing, and it's like, oh, you got lowest that time. Okay. Oh, you won that time. Okay. It's in a cool system, but I think this kind of the simplicity of it maybe is a little bit of its downfall in terms of replayability. Whereas this one, some good stuff. I definitely think this gets a seal. I mean, is that cheating at this point? A Taiki Shitzawa game with strict bidding, which I like, and the fact that it's gorgeous, and the fact that it's just simple trick taking. It calls to me. It calls to the person in me that loves trick taking games. I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, some additional points about how great Shut the Books is. I think open information is super, super fun in bidding, and showing people, hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm going for. You can play off that, which is really cool. Also, player-defined short hands. Oh, my favorite. So in short Zoot Suit, it was a big thing for me, was allowing players to stop drawing if they didn't want to draw, and stopping the round early. Love it. I love player-defined endings. That's so cool. Put players in the cockpit. Put players in the control. Putting players in the control is so cool. And zero bidding in this game is so fascinating because you have more cards. You have, a bigger hand. You have more choices. And maybe that's enough to give you the leeway to not have to play that high card in your hand. Fascinating stuff. Oh, I could wax poetic. It's great. Okay, Vivo, Shut the Books. Check them both out. If you're, definitely if you made it this far in this video. These are very, very, very interesting games, especially to you watching right now. And, wow, talk about presentation of trick-taking games. Like, just look at these two covers. Evocative, gorgeous. I am so excited for where trick-taking is going. It's looking gorgeous. It's playing even better. Oh, what a time to be alive. We're lucky. We're very, very lucky. Thanks for watching, and catch you later. Bye.